Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, where we're going to take a look at ThingWorx Navigate, which is a series of role-based apps and an interface which allow the both frequent and infrequent user of Windchill PLM to be able to see and get to information that they need instead of sifting through it, especially if you're an infrequent user of Windchill and you don't navigate it that often. Sometimes you spend a little more time searching for what you need. So ThingWorx makes it a heck of a lot easier. My name is Rob Romanowski. I'm the Director of Sales Operations for 3HTI, and leading our presentation and demo of ThingWorx Navigate is Shane Rigger, who is a applications engineer with PTC's Virtual Center of Excellence. So if you have any questions, type those into the Q&A box as we go along. And without further ado, Shane, it is all yours.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Yep, so like Rob was talking about, we're going to be going over ThingWorx Navigate. And the entire point of ThingWorx Navigate is, like Rob said, it's a suite of role-based applications that allow frequent and infrequent users to be able to get to that product data much more efficiently than you would generally have with something such as a PLM system, a really robust system. So starting off, we're going to be talking about some challenges that we see in industry around being able to access product data. The first point being that information is typically siloed within different organizations, and this information is needed by the entire company for throughput. There has to be a way, an easy way to be able to leverage data from multiple organizations to see the whole picture and to be able to work with those different applications that every user is going to have to work with. And often the people putting data into the systems have no problem getting to the data, but people in roles like if you have sourcing or marketing, manufacturing, they need to be able to have access and easy access to the data as well. And all of that because, of course, you want to be able to make better decisions on short notice. And some additional challenges include non-optimized PLM interface for specific roles that you would have. It's more of a jack of all trades. So many different types of users can have access to the data they need, but then getting to the exact data can be difficult. So with Navigate, it's used to quickly access the data when you need to. And then, of course, like Rob and I were talking about, casual users often forget the proper way to use a PLM system because they're not frequent to the system. They might jump into it once a month or a couple times a month. So it's hard for them to maintain that knowledge of how to use those type of interfaces. And PLM interfaces can be customized, but that can be very costly. And whenever you're running into customizations or you're creating customizations, one, it's costly, and then also the upkeep. So it's not even just implementations, it's being able to upkeep and maintain those connections that you've built out. So PTC solves those challenges with ThingWorx Navigate, and that's what you're seeing here on the screen on the left-hand side. So the way that Navigate is built out is there are a lot of different tiles. You can see they're broken up into different sections. And with these tiles, from an administration point of view, you can pick and choose which user groups have which tiles assigned to them. So as I go through the demo, you're going to see some users would have they might have the View Parts app, which is that's covering any 3D models, CAD drawings, any part-specific data. Some users might have the Documents app, so that's allowing any product-related documentation, again, residing on the Windchill side. And then you have the online change review board application that's called My Tasks. So if in the PLM system you're using the change management processes, that would allow users to automatically get tasks assigned to them, and then they can still be integrated within that type of workflow. And then lastly, you have any customer develop specific use case applications, and those can all be integrated into the Navigate solution as well. So looking at some of the out-of-the-box applications you get with Navigate, a few to point out: View Drawing app. That's going to be great for a good example is manufacturing floor personnel who need to be able to quickly access some drawing data, You have view parts list. That could be beneficial for purchasing, for example, if they need quantities or bills of materials. My task, again, that's going to streamline that change review process that you would have on the Windchill side. And then another important one is the download drawing bundle. And that could be used to quickly package up any drawings that may be needed by a supplier, for example. So if you have a list of 10 different files that you know that you need, you can open up the download drawing bundle, add those files in, and then it creates a zip file for you. Okay, now moving into the capabilities. Firstly, the entire point of it is to make searching and finding information easy. So it has easy searching within the system, allows you to search upon the objects, use the wildcard searching like you would find within Windchill, and then also filtering options. And it also has a scalable UX. So it doesn't matter which device you're running it on, whether it's PC, a phone, a tablet, it's going to scale to those devices. And then the interoperability layer, that that's using the Navigate application development kit. What that does is it's going to provide a holistic view to PLM data. So that's not only including data from Windchill, but also data stored in any external databases or enterprise systems. And that's all done because ThingWorx Navigate is built on top of our ThingWorx platform. So it makes pulling and pushing data very easy and also being able to create those UIs. And then with Navigate, it's also allowing you to dynamically connect to multiple systems of origin. Like I just mentioned, it's built on our ThingWorx platform, so connectivity is its bread and butter. You can bring in any data source that has an open connection and integrate it within the platform. And any of those systems that you're integrating could include real-time system of records, cloud-based, on-site, SaaS even. So any apps can be tailored and deployed very quickly. Okay, so before we jump into the demonstration itself, what I'm going to be going over is showing you what it would look like from different users logging in to Navigate, what tiles they may have or what you choose to allow them to have, and then how the actual functionality for the tiles would work for the users. So starting off, we're going to be signing in as someone named Mike, might be on the manufacturing side of things. And as soon as Mike logs in, he's going to see tiles that were chosen for him to be able to have access to. Starting off within the view part structure, this is where you can search based off of a name or a number, and then Navigate's going to allow you to even search for partial matches there. And then from there, you can see any visualizations as well as the name and the number for each of the available options that you would have upon that search. And then once you find the part you're looking for, then you can open up your part structure here. And instead of the part structure on the right, you can see that there's going to be cross highlighting on the visualization. So as you select on objects on the right, the visualization's updating on the left. And then also in the top right, it's showing you the currently selected part. And that's going to work with the cross highlighting as well. So if you came over to the object itself and selected on it components, it's going to highlight in the table on the right-hand side and also show you that selected part on the top right. So as soon as you get into Navigate, you can see how easy it is. You go to the tile you need, search for your part, and then you have access to all of that data instantaneously. Another important feature is being able to export this data. And you're going to notice that throughout the system. So any data that you're viewing is going to be exportable. So in this case, if someone needed to find a part, export it as a CSV to share with somebody within the organization, very easy to do. And then you could see you would have a report generated automatically. Also, here you can see the states for each of those parts. And again, all of this data is managed on the Windchill side. So once you're set up, once you have your user role set up, there's no management for this, right? So you get them set up, they're able to access what they need, and you have full control from the PLM side of things. Now, from the visualization on the left, you can see that you have some different orientations, different views on those visualizations for the object here. And this is another great capability for any users who traditionally might not have had this capability to be able to see the CAD data itself. So that's going to help being able to search for your objects and actually have the visualization instead of having to reach out to an engineer for something like this. Gives a real good understanding of the products that they're working with. And then the next thing we can do is drag some parts around. And this is going to show that you can actually interact directly with the model as well. So here you can choose individual components, choose to highlight, move those as you may want to. And you can also turn on and off the visualization for individual components. So really giving a good breakdown of the products that you'd be viewing within Navigate here. So you're going to have a lot of capability in terms of interrogating individual objects or looking at that entire assembly and being able to do both from a structural level in the actual part structure on the right-hand side, and then also from the visual level from the 3D side on the left. Now, going off of the part structure, here you're going to see that you have the currently selected part, which you could toggle down to directly from here, or you could go to one of the other apps and toggle between the different views within there. So for example, view parts list, we're still on the same part that we had originally searched onto, but then this is a different view into that. So now we have a parts list. You can see there's different information in here, version, the state like we saw previously, quantities, any additional information that's going to be important for someone in this role. And then also if there's any drawing files associated, and you can configure this table to have different views as well. So you're not just stuck with an out of the box view of information. You can configure whatever is going to be most important. Then the next app here is the view part properties app. So in the view part properties, any additional attribute information that you want to bring over from something like Windchill and display it can be shown here. So it's another view of you configuring what's important for anybody that has access to that tile. Now, the next application is going to actually launch Creo View. And what Creo View is a lightweight representation tool. It's going to be installed locally onto the user's device. As soon as they select on that, they're going to have the visualization load into Creo View, and then they're going to be able to do some enhanced visualization and interrogation on the models. So you can see similar to what we saw previously, being able to zoom in, zoom out, change the orientation, select on different components. But then what's also really valuable here is being able to do markups and things like sectioning, different tools like that. So for example, let's say you have someone in manufacturing. They generally don't have access to information like this, but they need to be able to go in and pull a dimension, let's say. So what they can do, open Navigate very quickly, go to the tile they need, find that part, launch Creo View, and then get the dimension for exactly what they're looking for. So here you can see we're just selecting on distance in this case, and then we're able to pull the exact distance that we're needing for any product related data. And that also works with documentation as well. So if there was a document that needed to be viewed, Creo View can do that. Creo View is like an all-in-one viewer. If they have drawings as well, that can be launched within Creo View, and then they can begin to do markups, annotations, and they only need one tool for it, right? They don't need to download 6 different softwares to be able to have that functionality. It's all managed from PLM, and then being able to have that sort of functionality with annotations and markups and things like that from the Creo View side. Now, the next step here is the View Drawing app, and this is just going to download any drawings that are associated with the part that we have selected. So in this case, you can see we have a PDF drawing here that we can view. If it's something like a DXF or an IGES file, you can always open that up in Creo View instead. And then lastly here, we have the View Design files, and this is going to have any additional associated files that you might have to this part. Again, if you have something like a DXF or an IGES neutral file, PDF steps, you can download any of them or all of them at the same time, and then be able to review any of that associated information. And then if you need to, for example, come in and find a drawing for something like a spindle, again, easily jump into Navigate, hit search, find what you're looking for, and then launch it directly from the browser here. So now going past just being able to view the drawings, I've already shown the 3D annotations capability, and we can show that directly in here. I'll navigate on this model. But then you also have model-based definition information. So again, this is generally something, if you're not using something such as a PLM system, You might just have the drawing somewhere in a filing cabinet, hard to find. You would have to literally find it within the filing cabinet. And or if you're using an FTP, you're gonna have to find the folder that that's in as well. So here it's all associative. You can pull it up directly within the visualization itself. So it's all in one location for that type of information. So now switching roles, we were just viewing somebody that might be in manufacturing. Now we're going to sign in as Phil. He might be in the purchasing department. So we want to give him different tiles to have access to. So you can see as soon as Phil logs in, again, all of this is controlled as far as the user groups go on the Windchill side. As soon as he signs in, he's given specific tiles so he can begin to jump in and work on what he needs. In this case, the document application, very similar to the part app where you can choose to search based on a name, a number, any partial matches are going to populate here. And then you can find exactly what you need, open it up, and then begin to do whatever work that you need to. Now, going past just being able to view the documents like we've seen, you can also view those in Windchill as well. So if you ever need to dig into more detail on the Windchill side, you can also have this directly link to Windchill directly in Navigate. So if you clicked on that link, you can see it opens Windchill directly, and then you can have access back and forth between that information. And if, of course, if you don't want that available, you can always have it turned off. So you don't have to worry about anyone accessing any information you don't want them to. A lot of granular control on any of that data that you're storing. Okay, so now we're going to do another search here on the document structure. This is another capability that's going to be pulled from the Windchill based on how you choose to organize your documents inside of Windchill, and you can relate documents in Windchill and create document structures to show how they're all tied together. So something like this where you might have an overall material safety data sheet headliner, but then under that you have sub-documents for each individual material. And then from there, you can easily click in between those different documents, open them up, view the information. Something as well that's included is reporting a problem. So this ties into the change process, like I was mentioning earlier, that we manage on the Windchill side. So from this document, let's say that somebody noticed an issue with it. There might be information that's off, that they think that it needs reviewed. So directly from Navigate, you can report this problem and directly from the object as well. You can report the problem, give description, categorize it even, so it's going to the correct database or the correct users, and then also any additional attachments. So a good example is even if you're working on a CAD model, you're viewing the CAD model, you noticed an issue with it, and then also you were digging into the documentation and you wanted to include that in the report, you can include anything that's relevant, hit report a problem after you're complete, and then everyone that needs to get that information and review this issue gets it, again, because it's all stored on the Windchill side. Now, going past the document capabilities, like I've been showing, we also have the ability to utilize that download drawing bundle. And this is really valuable. So this allows you to download multiple drawings at the same time. All you're doing, putting in the part numbers that you're needing or the file numbers that you need, and then it's going to do a lot of the work for you. So it's allowing you to know if it found parts without drawings, things that it couldn't find. Maybe you misinputted the file number that you were needing. And then as soon as you've done that search and it's letting you know, hey, it's successful. We found everything that you searched for. You can download that bundle. It's going to zip it for you, and then you can easily share it to whoever you need to or store that wherever you would need to. And you can see here all the files that were generated from that zip. Okay, and then the last user here, we're going to switch to more of a super user to see full functionality within Navigate. So these are going to be all the tiles. There might be some administration that you can do as well. And then, like I said, there's two different ways of reporting a problem. You can do it from the object level itself, or you can start a blank problem report without being in the object, and then choose what's going to be included and things like that, like we were just mentioning. So bringing in any attachments, images, documentation that's going to describe what that problem is. Okay, then once you include all that information, you can submit it. And again, that's going to kick off the workflow on the Windchill side for however you want to deal with that problem that was just reported. And then the next is going to be the My Task app. And this is going to be the last out of the box app that I'm covering. And this is also involved in that change workflow process. But in this case, you're a part of the reviewing team. So rather than submitting the problem, you're reviewing one of these and seeing what ways it needs to be addressed. So here you can see the different tasks that we've either completed or have assigned to us. You can see what number of people have worked on it so far. And you can also reassign any of these if you need to for whatever reason. You can adjust that as necessary. So you also have the ability to reassign them and see how many people have worked on those tasks already. Okay, so for this one, you can see that this one's almost done. 3 out of the 5 people have worked on it. So maybe you want to get started with this one, make sure that they're not waiting on you to complete this review. And then inside of here for this task, you can see all the descriptive information for what's going on, if there's a proposed solution, what state it's in, the time, any of the users involved, what their activities have been so far in this review, as well as any additional details if there's any costs associated with it, what work has been done so far, what objects might be tied to this, whether that CAD, whether that be the CAD objects themselves or any additional associated information such as documentation, images, anything like that. And then you can see from here that you have access to all the CAD data, all the information that I would need to know about with the structure to the visualization like we saw earlier. You can do things like markups and measurements through the Creo view if necessary, as well as look at, again, any of the additional information proposed to really come to a solid conclusion on any task that you would have assigned to you. So now at the end of the process, after you review all of the information, you can then approve or reject this. It's going to send off different workflows depending on which one you choose, of course. So if it needs rework, it's not complete, it needs more information to actually go through your process. There's different workflows that you can assign to that. And then what's also valuable is the ability to, for something like this, which is compliance related, to be able to require signature. So in this case, we're saying that same idea with the material safety data sheet being outdated. You want to be able to approve the update that's been made to it. And whenever you do this, you need to sign in with an e-signature, which is going to be the username and password for the user that's currently signed in. So this is, again, something new that's new with Navigate. That's something that people are really excited about finding value in and being able to tie in and confirm the user that's approving that process. And then you can see that those updates, as you make changes to them for you and your task assignment there. Now with all of this, you're able to edit the collections or the individual tasks. As I've shown, different users have different ways of viewing the different apps. So not every user is going to see every app, and what information you're seeing is configurable, of course. Like I said, you can choose who has what information, how the information is actually displayed. That's also configurable on the administration side. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to cover here is the custom apps. So this is kind of taking it that next step past just using the out-of-the-box apps with Navigate. And this is where you're able to develop your own apps, bring in multiple different data sources, whether it be an external database or another system that you're storing your information in. And then you're able to configure and create applications based on that data. So once you're pulling in those multiple data sources, here we're linking it to a change notice that we created. So you're able to bring in multiple data sources and then implement it within your PLM processes. Okay, and before I wrap up, I want to talk about how you're really going to benefit from using a tool like Navigate. So firstly, you saw it allows you to easily and efficiently use your collected data. And a lot of companies are spending a lot of time developing this type of data. And what Navigate does is it collects it for you, puts it in one location, makes it easy to access that data and deploy it to multiple different users, and allows them to have access to the data they need when they need it, especially whenever you're using disparate sources, a lot of different ways to store files, manage files, different applications that are being used, and a lot of different roles. it's involving everybody. It's putting them in that one single pane of glass, and it allows them to be involved where they need to be involved and have the data they need. Okay, so that's all I had to cover for ThingWorx Navigate today. Rob, I don't know if you had any questions in the queue.
Shane, nice job. Appreciate your help today. Great overview as always, simplifying something that can be very complex and intimidating at times. So thank you, Shane. If for our audience, that's going to conclude the webinar for today. But just to let everyone know that if you have any questions, want to see learn more about Windchill PLM, if you need Windchill managed services, these are areas where we excel at 3HTI. Our principal, Gary Hoffman, was actually the first sales rep at PTC to implement Windchill with Lockheed Martin, and also as a reseller 3HTI when Mr. Hoffman started 3HTI, he was also we were the first to implement Windchill as a reseller. So we have a long history and understanding of how to manage your product data efficiently and effectively, and also to help you take better care and with the security of your intellectual property as well. So if you want to see any additional detail regarding Windchill or have any other questions regarding Windchill, just respond to the email that was sent to you for this webinar, or you can contact us at info@3hti.com. So thank you for being on. The recording will be sent out by tomorrow for you to watch at your own leisure. Thanks, everyone. Take care.